For all the honeys and the undead. For all my dreams, you know it's alright.
One. Hey guys, Steven here from Mammals Gaming here. We have our very own Jack. And what did you do today?
I dodged shifter 9 rounds, and also my opponent ran round.
Nice. All right. So here we are at Philly Regional. You topped
Top 4.
top 4 with?
Memento Unchained Fiendsmith.
That's a lot of cards.
It is.
All right, let's go over it.
Alright, so 50 card main deck. I run 9 copies of the starter mementos. Won't go into them too much. These are all 1 card starters into the full combo. Then I also run each of the one-ofs. This is a starter. This is a bad starter. It can get you somewhere. And this, it doesn't get you somewhere if you had a Bestial, unfortunately, which has happened to me in the tournament, but I ended up okay. You gotta run 1 of each. Then for spells, I'm doing it by engine just because, like, otherwise it's a pile. So for Memento spells, it's 3 Bone Party, 1 Memento Mictlin, 1 Rhoda, and 2 Fusion Spell and Cranium Burst. People who don't run this are silly.
What does that do?
It is Apollosa, but it is not banned.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Yes, drawing this on its own in a 50 card deck sucks, but it is what it is. I would rather draw it and a bunch of hand traps than it and all of my bricks. So then for Fiendsmith, it's a standard 3 Engraver, 1 Lurie, 1 Tracked. I've seen talk about bumping Tracked up because of how, like, Lacrima doesn't exist anymore, and honestly that makes sense. I might do it. I didn't think about it until now. But for now, I think it's good. These are no longer... a big problem with this deck right now is that after the Lacrima and Beatrice bans, you can no longer access Memento Engine off of Engraver alone. You can access it with, like, any summon, like a Bestial or a Hand Trap, or even, like, just opening the Fusion spell. At least the way I built the deck. But it will not be able to actually just, like, go into it. After Rhoda, when we get the level 4 Fiendsmith, it will be a starter again. But for now, you kind of have to, like, insulate it with what I'm running right now, which is an Unchained package of Shavara, Chamber, and then I actually run Abominable. This card is insane.
How often did that come up for you today?
Every single time I comboed, it's involved in it. Basically, what I do is I go through the Fiendsmith line, I sequence make Aerator. Aerator will mill the Shavara to set the trap for my deck, and then I make Aerator and sequence in the Yama to add back Shavara. So Shavara can pop the trap, summon from hand, this trap would then summon this from deck. You link this in Yama into your Rage, so Rage is on field, so you don't care that this is gone. And then because this is in Graveyard as a level 8 Dark Fiend, you can banish it along with your Necroquip to reborn your Aerator, and that's how you get Caesar. It's just a way to insulate the deck from Nibiru. Like, if they Nibiru it any earlier, you don't really care, you didn't do your Memento half yet. It also makes it so I open, like, Just Engraver. I'm fine with that because Caesar Rage is a good board, and if I open Just Engraver, that means my other 4 cards are and then the last part of the deck are 19 hand traps, 7 Bestials. I think these are the best cards in the format.
7 Bestials?
Yeah, they're extenders, they're counters to Fiendsmith, counters to, like, just basically this deck. They hit you Bell, okay. Just mainly Fiendsmith, which is in every fucking deck. And yeah, no, it's really good.
All right.
Then the last 12 cards are the cards you see in every single deck list. I'm not going to explain those.
All right.
Then for extra deck, 2 of the big fusion. This card is insane. 1 of Kikkalos 2. Thankfully, I did not burst any Kashtira today because this really hurts, but you can't try to run 2 of it because there's like 15 other cards you can banish that are 1 of. There's no point. And then my other fusions are these 2, just needed for the Fiendsmith combo. I'm gonna go to the last fusion, but first, Fiendsmith engine requirements. You guys know what they are. Moving on. Then I run Guardian Chimera. I made it once. It was okay. Honestly, I'm probably gonna cut it. It's just not that good, but it helped in that one game, so, you know. Then Caesar. Then the Unchained package of 1 Yama, 1 Rage, 1 Anguish.
How was Anguish for you today?
It's really good. Just breaks boards. If they, like, summon out a Druid's Worm and you want a way to get rid of it without triggering its floating effect, you just make it into access code, which I did 0 times. This is the only card in my extra deck I didn't summon all day.
Oh, okay.
But I would not cut it. I do when you'll see in my side deck, I side deck 2 extra deck cards just because I'm not going to main them. And these are the 2 that come out when I side them in, and they're only for going first. And then the last card is SP.
Gotcha. Okay.
And finally, for my side deck, 3 Mulch Armies. Side pattern is when I go second, I cut 1 Tatsunashiko, 1 Anguich, and the trap card, like the Cranium Burst, to put in these 3. Because Unchained, you still want to go second, so I'm keeping the whole package. Then I also run 1 Call by just to go first. I fear Shifter like no other card on this planet.
As many of us do.
Yeah. So I would genuinely rather just be a card that says Stop Shifter than being like a Judgment or something. I never decided in going second because I'd rather have a hand trap. 3 Cosmics. Really good against Fire King right now. I dueled 2 of them today, and it was really good hitting Fire King Island both games. Then for trap cards, 3 evenly. I don't think I ever drew this, so I might have decided in, don't remember. And for the last 5, I run 2 extra deck cards, Silhouette Rabbit and Gigantic Sprite, and then I run alongside them in Ibli and pop a Swamp Deity and an Angel Statue Azrune.
Ibli.
So if you do the standard combo and you side these in, your board becomes like the one thing I fear in this deck is Eve. Like this deck beats every board breaker except evenly. Because this doesn't work in the battle phase. And the combo I go for off of 1 card is it ends you on the fusion, the big guy, Caesar, this on your opponent's field, this in the extra monster zone, and this set with Cranium Burst set. So you have a negate for any like board breaker they have that's not evenly. You have Cranium Burst to force them to attack with this into your defense position, like 5,000 defense guy, so they can't crash it. And you have the fusion to pop whatever the normal summon. So like unless they tribute over it or what happened with my 1 game, which was they opened Double Book of Eclipse, they're not getting rid of this. And this card wins the game. So
How often did you go into that line?
I did it twice. I would have done it a 3rd time, but I drew it that game. And for those who have cited Ibli may know, if you draw Ibli, you cannot actually get to it. And the one other time I went against Branded, and as I said, he opened Double Book of Eclipse. And then I went against Pure Snake Eye, and it just won the game. Like literally he tried to enter battle phase. I flipped Cranium Burst. He's like, yeah, you got it. Matchups were round 1, Rescue Ace Fiendsmith. Round 2, Cyber Dragon. Round 3, I tied against James on Mammals with Yugioh. Did I start round 5? It was round 3. I don't know. Round 4, I tied against Branded. A little salty about the tie, I'll be honest. Round 5, my opponent just didn't show up, which I think is the highest placing, like score-wise, I've ever had at a no-show, because I literally didn't get a loss. And then round 6, I went against Fire King, Snake Eye, Fiendsmith. Round 7, I went against Pure Snake Eye, Fiendsmith. Round 8, I went against Sprite. Round 9, I went against Fire King, Snake Eye, Fiendsmith. And round 10, I went against like Abyssial, Runic, Rose Dragon decks.
All right.
Yep.
Were there any matchups that you weren't looking forward to or don't have a favorable matchup?
If they say stand by Shifter, I get very sad. And this deck does nothing to Shifter. I didn't actually explain. This card is specifically so I don't just pass entirely. It is so if like I'm against Tenpai, I can at least do this, which is terrible, and you will lose. But the alternative is passing, so it is what it is. I don't know why they didn't ban that card. Other than that, I was actually very thankful my Runic matchup went the way it did, because Runic cards are so good against Memento deck. You run like 15 one-ups, and so many of them, if you get them banished, you just lose. And even not just one-ups. Like, I had a game at my locals, not here, but I got my one of my 2 copies of Fusion banished, and I just couldn't get access to it anymore. I couldn't search it. And it was banished alongside my Sleepy, so there was no way I could Fusion summon. Without Fusion summon, I wasn't running the game. But other than those 2, I think it has a really, really good Fiendsmith matchup, just in general. I think it plays through hand traps like exceptionally well. Most of the time, like sometimes you just get Anguich Imperm and pass. But the Unchained stuff make it so if they hold Imperm or whatever horse, I don't care. I full combo anyway. Or at least do that Unchained play, which they're not going to break. And yeah, that just feels pretty good. It'll change a lot with Rhoda, though.
Nice. We can't wait to see you pilot the deck with that.
I'll try.
Hey, well, congrats again. And
Yeah, left on red said none of this shit would get easier. Best friend flirting with death, collect winnings from the last check. On to the next.